The old house stood on a hill, its windows like vacant eyes. When my family moved in, I was the only one who felt the chill that had nothing to do with the autumn air. My name is Lily, and I was 10. My parents were caught up in the romance of restoration, but I found myself drawn to the attic, a place heavy with the scent of dust and forgotten things. It was there, under a grimy sheet, that I found her. A porcelain doll, beautiful in a way that was almost painful. She had glassy eyes that seemed to follow me and a tiny, perfect mouth painted in a perpetual, knowing smile. A small, tarnished locket hung around her neck. Inside, the name Annabelle was engraved. At first, it was small things. A book falling from a shelf, a door creaking open on its own. I'd find Annabelle in a different spot from where I'd left her, perched on my dresser, sitting in my rocking chair, always facing the door. My parents brushed it off. Old houses settle, my dad would say. You have a vivid imagination, my mom would add, smiling. That the feeling of being watched never left me. The doll's smile seemed to widen each day, a silent mockery. One night, I was jolted awake by a soft thud from the hallway. My heart hammered against my ribs. I crept to my door and peered out. Down the long, dark corridor, a small figure stood silhouetted against the moonlight from the window. It was the doll, Annabelle. She was just standing there, her head tilted as if listening. I slammed the door, my breath catching in my throat. This wasn't my imagination, this was real. The next day, I went to the local library, the doll's cold weight heavy in my backpack. The librarian, a kind woman with spectacles perched on her nose, helped me search the town archives. We found a yellowed newspaper clipping from 50 years ago. A little girl had vanished from my very house. Her name was Annabelle. The article mentioned her favorite toy, a porcelain doll she was never without. The last photo I ever taken of her showed a smiling girl with a familiar doll clutched in her hands. The locket was identical. Back home, the atmosphere had soured. The house felt oppressive, suffocating. I knew I had to get rid of the doll. I took her out to the old stone well in the backyard, its dark mouth gaping at the sky. My hands trembled as I held her over the edge. For a moment, I thought I saw her expression change. The smile twisted into a snarl. A voice, thin and reedy like a warped wrecker, echoed in my mind. You can't get rid of me. I was here first. With a cry, I let her go. The splash echoed from the depths. For a week, there was peace. The house felt lighter. The silence was no longer threatening. I started to believe it was over. Then came the scratching. Faint at first, from within the walls of my bedroom. It grew louder each night, more frantic. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Then came the whispers. A sibilant Lily hissed from the shadows when I was alone. One rainy evening, as I was getting ready for bed, I saw it. A trail of murky water leading from the hallway into my room. My eyes followed the wet path to my closet. The door was slightly ajar. A small, pale hand, its porcelain fingers caked with mud and grime, was wrapped around the edge. Slowly, the door creaked open. Annabelle stood there, her dress torn and soaked, her one good eye burning with a cold, ancient hatred. Her smile was gone, replaced by a jagged crack across her face, from which a single, bloody tear seemed to weep. The scratching hadn't been from the walls. It was been from inside my closet. She had been here all along. And this time, she didn't just want to play.